All right, we are up to level 4 of the challenge. So let's just put a hash in here to make that a heading. And for level 4, the challenge is to run an independent samples t-test comparing the mean recognition for female psychologists across male and female participants. So we're looking for an effective gender on the recognition of female scientists. So the first thing we want to do is a similar filter thing to just pare the data down to just female scores, because at the moment we've got each participant's in this March gender, we've got each participant's score for both male and female. We want to pare that down and filter to end up with just female scores. So same kind of deal. We can take that, we can make a new thing called March female by taking our March gender and piping it into a filter function. And this time we want condition to be equals, remembering the double equals, equals to female score. Is that what it's called? Yeah. All right, so we're going to make a new thing called March females with just scores, recognition scores for female scientists. And if we look over here in our environment, we now have a thing called March female, where we're down to 247 observations, and that's only including female scores. So now we want to compare groups of participants, male versus female participants, to see whether male versus female participants differ in their recognition of women psychologists. So the Jamovi software is a free open source alternative to SPSS that's point and click, but it's built on R. And so you can get the R code in the background that is running each of the tests. And they have a nice R package that has nice wrappers for all the basic statistics that you might need as a psychology student or researcher. And the nice thing about the functions that are in the JMV package is that the output is often simplified. So if you're teaching students basic statistics, the nice thing about the output from JMV is that it pares it down to just what you need to know. So the formula that you need to use to get independent samples t-test, that is an IST test, is you use the t-test IS function, and you're looking for, in this case, we're looking for an effect of group on our dependent variable, and you tell it what your data frame is. So in our case, we're going to say we are looking for an effective gender on score, and we've called our data that we want to run the test on, we've called it March female. So let's try that, copying it into an R chunk. And I think when I did this before, it throws me an error. Yeah. So the reason this throws me an error is if you look in the code book, which you can find back here in your project, in the code book here, you'll find that there's actually 3 levels of gender in this data set. And of course, an independent samples t-test can only compare 2 things. And so I think you can do unique will tell you how many levels a particular variable has. And so we can say, all right, we want you to look at our March female data frame, and this $ tells that you want it to look particularly at the gender variable. And so if we run that, it tells us that there's actually 3 levels of gender. And so we need to filter out the other in order for our independent samples t-test to work. So we're going to take our March female data, and we're going to overwrite it this time because we don't really want to create a new thing. So this assignment tool you can use to overwrite the old version of March female with a new one. And we're going to take the March female data frame and we're going to filter again. And this time we're going to say we want to filter out instances where gender is, we want gender to not be equal to 3, right? So usually when you're saying filter, you use equals. You want to tell it what you want it to keep. But this is telling it that we want to filter out instances where gender is equal to 3. If we run that, and then we try this unique checking how many levels there are of our gender, we end up with just 2, which is what we want, right? So this little piece of code here has overwritten our original version of March female that had 3 levels of gender, and made it so that it filters out this exclamation point equals, means I want you to filter gender is not equal to 3. Okay, and then try that again. So we can copy this code from up here, but just run it on our new data set. And it's going to think a little bit, but then it's going to give us some pretty nice looking output. So this is telling us that there is no difference in the mean recognition scores for female psychologists between male and female participants. Just to convince us of the sanity of that, let's plot it so that we can see that that's probably the case. So we've got our March female data. We can pipe that into a ggplot. Do we need to calculate a mean first? Let's look at this. We need, so we want to group by, this time we're going to group by gender and then summarize means. So if we go group by gender and then pipe that into a summarize, mean performance equals mean of the score column. See what that gives us. If anything at all, what is that going to do? Good. Oh yeah, it's just thinking really hard, right? So yeah, it seems like gender 1 and 2, I'm not sure which way these go, but the mean performance is pretty similar for males and females recognition of female psychologists, right? We can just pipe that into a ggplot like we did before and tell it that the aesthetics, we want an X. On the x-axis, we want it to be gender, and on the y-axis, we want it to be the mean, and we're going to add a geom. We want it to draw us a column graph. Right? Yeah. And then we definitely want to get rid of that ugly grayness. Theme APA is your friend. Theme underscore APA is your friend. All right. Cool. So noting that here when we're using functions within dplyr, so grouping by and summarizing, we're piping into each step. And then when we switch to ggplot, we're adding layers to our plot. All right, so there is the last challenge. You've got, it's now officially April, so I think the April challenge will be coming out soon. There's a competition so that you can do the April challenge and submit it, and someone will look at it and people go into the draw for prize. I think the submissions are like mid-April, but sometime later in April, I'll do the same thing for the April challenge. Good luck. Tweet me if you have questions or I can help. Good luck on your R learning journey.